Hello and welcome to a knitting tutorial on my podcast all about knitting and crochet and my yarn shop here in Wiesbaden, Germany. I'm Kiko and today is November 15th, 2023, and today I want to tell you how to knit a haramaki in preparation for the knit along that I will have announced last Monday by the time this video goes live. I never can remember how to say that. But anyway, so the next knit along I'm planning to do is on how to knit a haramaki because I've had several requests for that. And to start at the very beginning, what is a haramaki? Not everyone may be familiar with that term. It's a Japanese word traditionally used for a belly warmer. But Martina Umemura, who wrote this book, who's a German who lives in Japan, and I don't think she invented this garment, but I think it was her idea to use it those different ways. And she made it famous in Japan and then also worldwide. So what you do is you actually just knit a tube, and then you can either wear it around your neck like this, or over your head like this, hanging to the back, or you can pull it over your head and have it round the neck and on your head. Or you can make a hat outfit out of it and then either wear it this way or that way. So that's quite a few uses for just one garment. And not everybody uses their haramaki for all the purposes. So I've decided for this knit along, I'm also going to include a reversible hat, which is knit according to this book. So with both the books, I'm not giving away all the patterns that are in the book. Unfortunately, the German book about haramaki is not available anymore. But I'm still not going into all the patterns. I'm just going to explain how to do the basic option, and the same for the hats. And I'll explain what they have in common in a moment. So let's start with the sort of basic haramaki that with 4-ply yarn, you knit with 160 stitches, you knit 2 times about 28 centimeters, and you can choose to use a different yarn or a different color or a different pattern for the second half. So for this haramaki that my sister knit, she used 2 different yarns and different colors, but she used the same pattern. So you can do a different pattern or the same pattern. It's completely up to you. And if you have this tube, I think the cowl version and the belly warmer is, everybody knows how to do that. For the hat, what you do is you hold it in the middle and you turn it like this, and then you fold one half on top of the other. And because you turned it, it's sort of going to stay that way. And then depending on how deep your haramaki is, you can turn up a sort of brim, and then you can put this on your head. And it's not perfect as a hat, which is why I decided to include the other hat. So it is possible to wear this as a hat like this. As you can see, it's slightly loose and a little bit too big, but I think a garment that's supposed to fit around your hips and your head is really difficult to get it perfect. So, and that's one of the biggest complaints I'm getting from German viewers, that for a lot of people, something that will fit on their head is too small to go around their hips. So in Japan, most people, especially most women, are fairly small and fairly slim, and they can wear it. And I can also wear this around my hips, but it means it's a bit loose around my head. For the neck, it's okay. You can do anything. You can wear anything around your neck, so that's not a problem. I am going to go into the question of how to do a haramaki or to knit something that fits around your hips, even if they are not the proportion that will fit in here. I will go into that in a different video, but for now, for this video, I will just explain how to do the simple haramaki. So yeah, I think I've already started. So with the 4-ply yarn, what you do is you cast on 160 stitches. You can just knit the whole thing. You can do some ribbing and then knit stockinette stitch. You can do any pattern that you like that sort of stays flexible. If you do a lot of cables, you might add more stitches. If you were to do a lace pattern, maybe you would reduce your number of stitches. But basically that's what you do. And if you knit 2 times 28 centimeters, it'll be about this long. It'll be long enough to be turned into a hat. And if you know you're not going to use it as a hat, you could knit it shorter. There's one haramaki that I knit out of 8-ply sock yarn, so it's like double the normal sock yarn, and I knit this shorter because I knew with the thick yarn I didn't want to wear it as a hat. So this is a lot shorter, and it's just one yarn and one pattern, so it's rather boring but it has this nice blue colors, and it has a bit of sparkle in the yarn. I think the camera does pick it up a little bit, and I knew I could wear it round my neck and round my hips as a belly warmer, and it's long enough to be like a very short skirt. Or I could just wear it round the middle and push it inside my skirt or my trousers and pull the pullover on top so nobody sees it, and then I wouldn't have that much of fabric to hide. So that's yeah, so the numbers that I'm giving you, they are just the basic model, and of course you can change whatever you like. One of the patterns in the book that I'm actually going to show you because it's so simple, it's using the sock yarn held double. Then and with the double thickness, you cast on 110 stitches or something like it, and the length again is the same. And for this haramaki, I cast on those stitches and I just knit everything in the round. So there's no purl stitch, no ribbing, just a very simple tube. And the interesting thing about this haramaki is that I use the same color held double on this half, and then I use this same color for one strand and white as the second strand for the second half. And I just love the effect that you get when you double your yarn, your colorful yarn with white. So it's the same color throughout, but this half has the white on top, and it's absolutely long enough to wear as a skirt for me and still have my whole belly warm. It's again, I could turn it into a hat, and if you have a haramaki that has a right and a wrong side, if you want to do the hat, you have to turn it to the wrong side first, then you do this turning action, and then you pull one half on top of the other. And because I have no ribbing, if I put this on my head, it sort of looks a bit like a helmet but I'll show you anyway. Not afraid to look ridiculous. So I said this is more of a helmet, and if I wanted to wear it as a hat, I really would need some ribbing on the edge. But it's fantastic also as a cowl, so that's no problem, no matter how thick your yarn and how long or short you make it. Whatever you knit, you can always wear it around your neck like this, and I can wear it like this if I want it a bit looser, or if I get cold, I could take one half and push it to this side and take the other half and push it to the other side. And if I sort of pull in different directions with both my halves, it'll get a lot tighter and it'll sit really close to your neck, and it'll keep you a lot warmer. And also what I really like to do with my, I think with all the cowls that are long enough, but especially with the haramaki, is just pull it up like this on top of my head. If I forget my hat or I lose my, I've lost so many hats in my life, and this way I can't lose it because it sits around my neck. And if I like go into a shop or I go into the bus and it gets warm, and I can just pull it down like this and I won't lose it, and I can pull it up again. So this is a very, very basic way of knitting a thick haramaki. I have another one that's very similar, except for the colors, but this was one of the 8-ply yarns by Opal. So this is just one strand, but it's as thick as 2 strands of fingering weight yarn. And then the funny thing is I had the same color from the Opal subscription, from the Abo, where you get colors and you don't know whether they will be in one of the usual collections or usual series by Opal. So this was a 4-ply in this color, and then this was the 8-ply in the same color. So I doubled it with white in this half and then just used the 1 strand here. And I love the effect because the stripes are, I think, exactly the same, but you have the white mixed in this half, and I just love it. And I did put in a little ribbing into this, so that it doesn't roll as much no matter how I wear it. And it's still a bit too big to use as a hat, but I love it both as a cowl and as sort of short skirt or belly warmer. And then one more thick one. So I have lots of double thickness haramaki because I always get so cold so easily. So this one was knit by a friend of mine, but she knitted the way I asked her to do it. And this is completely knit in knit to purl to ribbing. So with this one, she used 108 stitches because with 110, you can do a 1x1 rib, but not a 2x2 rib. So you don't have to follow those numbers exactly. If you have any sort of pattern, you can always sort of round to the next number that you need for your pattern repeat. And with this one, I gave her a sparkly, blue-gray sparkly yarn, a dark gray yarn, and a black yarn. And then she held it double. First she held the sparkly yarn double, then she doubled the sparkly yarn with the gray. Then it was the gray, 2 gray strands, then 1 gray, 1 black, and then 2 black. And the fun thing with this is if I wear it as a belly warmer or a skirt this way, it'll be black and very neutral. It will just go with everything. But if I'm wearing something blue, I could wear it this way. And the same as I wear it, when I wear it as a cowl, I can decide how to fold the thing, and I can decide which color I want to show. And yeah, so that's very convenient. Now, as I said, not everybody is able to wear a haramaki as a hat and a cowl and a belly warmer. And some people don't even want to wear the same thing different ways. So, for example, my sister loves haramakis as a skirt. She will usually knit them a bit shorter, and sometimes she will even add a bit of waist shaping so that it sits a bit nicer around her belly. And she usually only wears them as a skirt. She could still wear them as a cowl, even with the shaping, but she just doesn't like it. She likes to have one thing for one purpose. I love to have a thing with multiple purposes, but we're just different that way. And if you wanted a hat and the haramaki would be too much hassle for you to always do the turning thing, and it doesn't always stay that way, but the idea to have a long tube and make a double thickness hat is not a new one. And there's where the other idea comes into play, and it's this book, Wende-Beanies Stricken. It means to knit reversible hats. And as I said again, I'm not going to give away all the patterns in the book, but basically what you do is you knit a long tube. Where's my hat? Here we go. You knit a long tube, but instead of leaving the ends open, you just sew them shut. So there are no decreases in this hat. It's just you cast on, and this uses 120 stitches, so it's a bit smaller. It fits on the head more nicely, and it wouldn't go around my hips, and they're not supposed to go around the hips. So you can just sew both ends shut, and then what you do is you push one half into the other. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this kind of hat. There are several patterns on Ravelry that use this construction. I knit one hat out of a book called Moon and Turtle, where they have a hat like this. I know that Isolde Teague, I think, designed a hat that's sort of like this, but it includes decreases and increases. So if you don't want the bulk of just pulling it together, you could go for that pattern. And but if you just want to keep it really simple, if you're a beginner, the easiest thing to do is just cast on the stitches, knit the whole thing, and the length of the hat is almost the same as with the haramaki. So depending on the project in the book, they go between 26 and 32 centimeters per half of the hat. And then once you've pushed it together like this, you can either wear it like a slouchy something and pull it down in the back, or you can fold up the brim like this, and this way you have the other color showing and you have a quadruple thickness over your ears. So like 4 layers. And again, you can turn it around. That's why it's a reversible hat, and you can do both things on the other side. I can wear it with the folded up brim, or I could push it back and just do the slouch thing. Yeah, and then if you wanted, if you don't want to leave it open like this, you could sew both ends of the hat together. So with this hat that my sister knit, it has 2 different yarns, 2 different patterns, but the ends are sewn together, so I can't pull it apart. So it is a double thickness, but it won't pull apart. I think if you do that, it's probably a bit more secure. But on the other hand, if you wash it and dry it, it'll always be like a double layer. And if you pull it out like this, I think it dries quicker. It's not an important difference. I don't think you have to wash your hat every other day, but still. Yeah, so my sister did with the yarn that has several colors. She just did stockinette stitch, and then for the single color, she put in some pearl bumps that spiral up the hat. And yeah, so that's basically it. I'll just show you one more haramaki that's in the book that I won't explain how to do it exactly, but this is knit sort of side to side. So instead of casting on stitches and knitting upwards, you do a provisional cast on this way, and then you knit round your hips. So with this kind of haramaki, it'd be a lot easier to customize it for yourself to be worn as a belly warmer. But what you need to know is how to do the provisional cast on. And this is what my next tutorial video is going to be about. I'll show you one way of doing a provisional cast on that could enable you to do the sideways haramaki, but also it could give you a way of measuring your hips without doing a gauge swatch. That's the plan. I'm still working on it, so that's why it's going to be a separate video. But for this one, I just wanted you to see how easy it is to knit a haramaki and give you the basic numbers. I'll put the numbers in the description box underneath the video so you can have a look at that. And then again, these are just ideas that can get you started, and then you can customize either your belly warmer or your cowl or your hat any way you like. And if you want to share what you're doing, or if you have any questions, there'll be a discussion thread about haramaki in my Ravelry group for Kikos Strickschule. And if you don't know any German, we could start an English-speaking discussion group, or discussion thread. You could start one, and we could have a conversation in English as well. That's up to you. Yeah, so I think I've told you everything that you need to know to be able to knit a haramaki or a reversible hat. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!